Death and Dementia video 26, as I kind of mentioned before. Going through this, as soon as you think you've got a handle on things, you don't. You just don't. And I go through that sometimes daily, but certainly several times a week. And think, hey, I got it down. I got everything in place, the right people, the right thing. Mom and dad are doing good. And then some shitstorm hits. And so get used to it if you're not quite as far along as we are. Don't get too comfortable because things constantly change. Very little up. And I mentioned last video trying to give mom and dad a little happiness whenever we can. That's our goal. And it was looking good last time I did the video. Since then, not really a whole lot has looked good. They're kind of back into the little depression stage, and then phone calls are a lot of crying, and you know, it's hard to take as a son. You want them happy, and they're always crying, but you just don't know what's going on in their head, and so it's a sad way to watch them go through kind of, well, what's going to be the end? How long? Who knows? Dad is still doesn't have his permanent room. He has a temporary room. We're moving him closer to memory care, and that's one of the things when you start talking to the people at these facilities. If you get a good relationship with them, there's zero room in memory care. There was one room that came available in a hallway near memory care, which come to find out they're eventually going to take over when they reconstruct memory care. So I said, how about we put him in that room, and then eventually memory care just kind of absorbs him. And they worked on that for a bit, made it happen. Well, so far it looks like it's going to happen. And so he's going to be moving down. Right now his temporary room is a bit too close to mom, and mom's afraid of running into him in the hallway and things like that. Dad's been getting more aggressive, and so in the memory care unit, he is probably the most alert, and it's hard to believe because he just doesn't really know what's going on around him. But unfortunately, there are people, you know, that are worse off than him there, and really can't communicate at all. And so, but there's a couple people, one in particular, who kind of follows dad around like a puppy dog, and it's been pissing dad off. He usually has great conversations with the guy, but the guy's always right in dad's shit. And so apparently dad did some yelling, and yeah, to get the guy to back off. And so that kind of behavior we're just being told is normal, that not just from the staff but from the doctors. And they warned us a long time ago that their patience really they don't have the patience anymore. They just can't really regulate what the hell's going on in their head. So dad has been a little more aggressive. When we go to see him, he's very pleasant, rarely knows who we are still. My wife and I went and saw him a few days ago, and he was very nice to both of us, didn't know who we were. And so it was kind of a short visit because he was a bit agitated from this guy. So on the other hand, you have mom, who come to find out, and she kind of stole my idea. Because a while back I told my wife, I said, you know, I could doorbell ditch everybody on this floor and not even have to run away. You just kind of knock and walk to the next one, knock, because by the time they make it to the door, I'm already out the elevator. And my wife said I was being a dick, so I didn't actually do it. Turns out my mom did, and not all of them, but apparently she was knocking on dad's door and running away. I don't get it. And at like 6 in the morning. So then dad, once again, he's not in memory care yet. So then he would walk out and just start wandering the hallways. They'd have to bring him to memory care earlier. Normally they would bring him there about 8 o'clock in the morning. And so how you end up, if you guys unfortunately end up here, is the staff called me and said, hey, can you tell your mom not to doorbell ditch your dad? And if I tell her that she's not, she's going to deny it because she won't remember. And so, and that conversation can go ugly really quick. So all I did is said, hey, they moved Dad. I said, take the freaking sign off his door that has his name. And so that's where we are now, and it seems to have worked. And they are moving him pretty quick. So hopefully that little mess is settled there. And kind of an update. It's election day right now. Hopefully RFK Jr. gets a shot. I guess we'll know tomorrow. And at dealing with big pharma and the food sources and all that stuff. And the more and more I read, the more videos I look at, the more books I read, the more I think that that's a big part of our problem and a big part of what causes these horrible, pretty much irreversible diseases. And if you eat right now, you might be able to prevent it. Where Mom and Dad are, I think there are some foods that might be able to help improve them, but to actually get somebody to sit down and feed them very specific things every single day is the cost that insurance isn't going to cover, and I couldn't even imagine how much it's going to be. So where they are, it's good food, but they can still have their biscuits and all that. And my brother and I go back to, they want to eat normal. So we're not going to force these healthy foods on them because they told us before dementia kicked in, we just want to eat normal, and it's their life is what it comes down to. So I guess we'll find out tomorrow what's going to happen, but please read up. Genius Foods, read up that. Look at RFK Jr.'s website. There's so much out there, and make the decision for yourself. Why do we have ingredients that are banned in other countries and things like that? So, but I'll update more later on. Until then, God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America. Thanks for watching. I'm hoping these videos are going to help somebody out there. Please look at the attachments to the videos. I've attached just the websites to some of the people who I speak to. And I've also attached my Amazon Associates links to some of the products that we've used for Mom and Dad and some other things that look like they would be helpful for people in similar situations. God bless.